Okay, good morning, everyone. I'll bring this February 26th meeting, Senate Transportation, Highways and Military Affairs Committee to order. We only have one bill today, so we came in late. Hope everyone appreciates the extra hour of sleep. Could we have roll call, Pierre?
Senator Anderson,
Here.
Senator Barlow,
Present.
Senator Cooper,
Here.
Senator Kolb,
Excused?
Chairman Pappas.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So our one and only bill today is House Bill H 145, removing triple taxation for resident EV drivers. A bill sponsored by Representative Yin. Representative Yin, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And members, I'm glad to give you some of work to do this morning, but hopefully not 2 hours worth of work. And I bring before you House Bill 145, removing triple taxation for resident EV drivers. So members, I brought this bill, and for those of you that have been on Senate Transportation for the years previous to this session, this has been something that's been worked on over 2 previous interims. It has to do with how we manage taxation for EV drivers. In the last year, there have been some changes in that the Department of Transportation has decided to enforce the alternative fuel tax regime that is in statute currently in a way that it's actually very burdensome for both resident EV drivers and for places that have charging installations. So places that have level 2 charging installations have actually turned them off in the last year. And so that's why I brought it during the budget session, because it's important to try to fix this before it continues for another year. So for resident EV drivers, you pay a $200 per year EV decal fee on your registration every year. You pay this alternative fuel license tax, which has been instituted now, which is on a per gasoline gallon equivalent. So I gave you this little fact sheet, and it lists out everything that I'm saying, which is 0.7 cents per kilowatt hour of a tax. And that ends up for these level 2 providers being less than $1 worth of tax that they have to mail in every single month. For these level 2 charging stations, some of them are provided as amenities, and so they don't actually have a way to meter how much power that they're dispensing into cars. And that's one of the biggest reasons that they're being turned off, because they have no way to administer the tax efficiently and directly. And then they also pay sales tax. And so sales tax, if you put gasoline in your car, you pay fuel tax, you don't pay sales tax. And so the goal here is that we kind of align residents to be on a similar amount of fuel tax payment that they're paying with their EV. And we also make sure that all the people that drive through the state properly pay for how much they're driving through the state as well. And so you have this solution where we change the tax rate to something actually significant, but we also only make it apply to fast chargers. So level 2 chargers, it takes 8 hours to fully charge a vehicle. You're not doing that when you're driving through the state. You're doing that when you charge at home, or you charge at work, or maybe when you go shop downtown. If you're driving through the state of Wyoming on I-80 or I-25, you're going to want to stop at these fast chargers, and that's where you get enough where you can keep going, or when you're trying to go to wherever you're going in Wyoming. So we institute a higher tax rate to try to get that right tax amount, fuel tax amount from EV drivers driving through the state. And then we exempt sales tax. So we get rid of that to make it in line with fuel tax. And then we provide this refund program for Wyoming residents. And so Wyoming residents, $200 is probably more than the average fuel tax payment for a driver throughout the state. You'll hear from some people testifying on how much that calculation has been. It's been a discussion during the interim, and so that's where this 3.5 cent number came from. But we put in this refund program because you're paying this $200 registration fee. You at least have access to not be double taxed when you charge at a fast charging station. The refund program, you'll hear from the department, it's basically at the end of the year, and this is on the last page of the bill if you want to look at the refund program. It's on page 17 and 18 of the bill. Basically gives the department wide latitude to try to make sure it's not a very high administrative burden for them. It is a somewhat of an administrative burden on the EV driver side. And so my hypothesis is that even if we're giving access to this program, you're not going to find a lot of people trying to submit all of their receipts at the end of the year just to get a refund on the EV driving that they do through the state, unless they're maybe myself, where you'd be driving from Jackson to Cheyenne back and forth 10 times a year. And then we also introduced the plug-in hybrid EV decal fee. So plug-in hybrids, you drive, they're kind of a best of both world situations for EV drivers in the state of Wyoming. So you can get 20 to 40 miles of just battery power. And so if your daily commute can be, you charge at home, but when you're driving through the state, you'll fuel up with gasoline and you'll pay that fuel tax and gasoline. So we haven't had a decal fee for that. This was discussed in the interim bill, and so that's why I put it in this bill. The $100 is because for the most part, your commute time is going to be not paying fuel tax because you'll be charging at home. And then because it's only $100, the rest of the time when you're driving through the state, you'll pay normal fuel tax. In my fact sheet, I give you a little comparison. But with that, I mean, I can walk you quickly through the bill, but a lot of it is what I just presented to you, Mr. Chairman. So quickly through the bill, 2 and 3, we talk about the decal for the plug-in hybrid, and we have and so we make sure that in the $200 one, it's specifically for all electric and not plug-in hybrid vehicles. We exempt fuel tax on page 3 from sales tax. I mean, we exempt alternative fuel tax from sales tax to inline it with the normal fuel tax. Page 4, we're talking about electricity sold or dispensed at a DC fast charging station. And so that's what we're talking about with the fast chargers. These are your Tesla superchargers that you'll see around I-80, I-25. And these are the ones that people driving through the state will be using primarily to fuel their EVs. And those are the ones that we'll be taxing. And then we add some of the conforming language, which frankly, the alternative fuel statute didn't really have, where we're talking about kilowatt hours and not the gallon gasoline equivalent. And so when we're talking about electric vehicle charging and electric vehicle taxation, we do it on a kilowatt hour basis. This is the same way your electric company charges you. Update some more definitions on page 4, 5. And on page 5, we have this definition of hybrid electric vehicle that we're changing, which is to differentiate it from a plug-in hybrid vehicle, because a hybrid vehicle you can't plug into the wall. And then we go into page 6, more definitions. We define all electric vehicle. So just to have those 3 categories of hybrid, plug-in hybrid, all electric. And then we define what a DC fast charging station is. And so these, again, we're talking about things that meet the engineering standards of what a DC for a fast charging station is. Page 8 is when we get into how we define who is a dealer for dispensing or selling electricity, and labeling requirement on that Romanet 3 at the bottom of page 8. Page 9 is when we set the rate. So the rate is set at that 3.5%, 3.5 cents per kilowatt hour. Page 10, 11, more language to talk about kilowatt hours. I'll note on this language, you also see the strikeout of during the preceding calendar month. And so the amendment and the reason you have a green copy is that on the House side, we put in a change to make it so the department can reduce their administrative burden on a per fuel type basis. So per alternative fuel type basis. So for electric vehicles, I argued that for these charging stations, it would reduce the burden both on the dealer side and the department side if they could do it on a quarterly basis, the way sales tax is done, rather than on a monthly basis. So you'll see this strikeout language here, and then on page 16, I believe. No, sorry. On one of the pages that we'll get to, we'll talk about as required by department rule, and that's where we give the department leeway on the alternative fuels to decide between monthly and quarterly. Continuing, oh, there we go. On page 12, we say any period is required by department rule. And so these are the changes, 12, 13, 14, where we give the department leeway to choose between quarterly and monthly tax collection on an alternative fuel tax, on each type of alternative fuel. And so because all of this is still within the alternative fuel tax statute, this leeway is given just so they can treat each alternative fuel type differently. Page 15, similar, 16, the same. And then page 17 is when we get into the refund program. And I tried to work with the department as much as possible to figure out how we can give them also as much leeway so they aren't burdened too much, while the goal similarly is to make sure we capture the amount of taxable sales properly from the drivers who drive through, as well as our resident EV drivers. And with that, I bring you House Bill 145.
Oh, okay, thank you, Representative Yin. Questions for the representative? Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Yin, I just want to be clear, we're designating a new class of hybrid vehicles. So we'll have all 100% plug-in and then hybrid, plug-in and hybrid separate. So this one is eligible for the new tax rate or the difference in tax. This one stays at the standard fuel tax. The one in the middle is the difference. Is that accurate?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Barlow, that's correct. So the plug-in hybrid is a new definition. Before I'd have to defer to the department on how that was administered on a per treasurer, county treasurer statement. But I believe most of them were just sticking them into the hybrid bucket and not charging them anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Yin, I'm confused here on your handout. It says that tax parity, EV charging exempted from sales tax, same as gasoline. And I was thinking that we charge 24 cents a gallon on gasoline. Does that not fit with that tax exemption?
So, Mr. Chairman, Senator Anderson, so we have fuel tax, which we charge at 24 cents a gallon. And then there's sales tax that we charge on a final billing amount. We don't charge sales tax on gasoline sales. We only charge that fuel tax. And right now for EVs, if you charge at a charging station and they charge you some amount of money, so let's say it's $5 on that charging station, we do collect sales tax on that currently. And so the exemption of sales tax is just to align it completely with fuel tax. If that makes sense. Happy to clarify it.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that aligns it with gasoline. The only reason we have that 24 cents in there, we collect that at wholesale. We do not collect it at retail, but it's a sales tax on our gasoline. So anyway, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Mr. Chairman, again, so fuel tax, even though it's collected at wholesale, still a tax on gasoline, but it's not the same as the sales and excise tax that goes directly to the Department of Revenue that we charge when you buy candy. We don't actually put that on fuel sales.
Okay,
Any further questions? Okay, thank you, Representative Yin. I know we have a couple of the departments. We've got YDOT and we have the Department of Revenue here. We'll take YDOT first. And I don't know if Sharon want to weigh in at all back there. I don't. We'll see after YDOT.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. committee
morning.
Members. My name is Dennis Byrne. I'm the Chief Financial Officer with YDOT. To my left are Kim Peters and Wayne Hassinger, who actually administer the collection of these fuel taxes and the alternative fuel taxes. Mr. Chairman, I'll just be brief this morning. I think this addresses many of the things that we had talked about during a number of interim committee meetings. I think it cleans up the existing language, and it certainly makes it a little easier for us as the taxing authority to administer the law in the way that you folks intend. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will stand for any questions that you may have for us.
It's great. You other two want to weigh in on? They're just backup, huh?
Mr. Chairman, if you could specifically ask him a question, we would all appreciate it.
Okay, committee, any questions for the for YDOT? Boy, you got off scot-free.
Yes, we did. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Department of Revenue and I think looks like Sharon ducked out. Apparently, no testimony from the Department of Revenue. Okay, so I'll open it then to public comment. Is there anybody in the room that would like to? Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Anna Kaufman. I'm the Government Relations Manager for Wyoming Outdoor Council. We just want to sit in support of this bill. I'll keep it pretty brief. I think the sponsor did a good job of explaining it. We see it as a good way of just streamlining the way that we're doing things now. There's a lot of moving pieces. I know our office has a level 2 charger, and one of our admin folks is in charge of keeping track of how we send in our tax, and we're sending in checks for under $1 a month. So it's not necessarily worth the administrative burden kind of on either end for the manpower it takes for the department to kind of process that, to collect that revenue, and then also for us to be tracking it, sending it in. We think right-sizing it this way to make it a little bit more commensurate with the traditional fuel tax that's being paid by gasoline drivers makes a lot of sense. And then adding this class of plug-in hybrids also captures that potential lost revenue when plug-in drivers are charging at home and not paying that fuel tax for their commute. So we appreciate the bill. We appreciate that it's going to streamline things a little bit more. And also that creating this fuel tax is going to direct that revenue to the department where it needs to go rather than into the pool that the sales tax is currently going to. So we think that it makes sense. It's a little more commensurate with what other states are doing as well. And I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Kaufman? Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
I see the Department of Revenue came back in the room. Would you like to speak on this at all? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any further? Here we go. We got another one. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I'm Donna Burkholz, Executive Director of the Powder River Basin Resource Council. As you know, we are a statewide member-driven organization, and among our members' concerns is responsible use of our resources. We stand in support of HB 145 because the bill modernizes outdated electric vehicle tax policy, benefiting Wyoming residents, communities, and local businesses, while ensuring that out-of-state EV drivers contribute to maintaining the roads that they use. HB 145 is efficient because it allows residents to pay only one upfront fee that covers at home and public charging, replacing 3 overlapping taxes. This bill also raises the alternative fuel tax to be commensurate with the state's fuel tax. on gas-powered vehicles, as well as including plug-in hybrid vehicles to capture revenue at charging stations in addition to fuel pumps. We believe this is very well done. For all of these reasons, we're in support of this legislation. Thank you, and I stand for questions.
Thank you. Any questions from Ms. Burkhold?
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Thank you for your
testimony.
time.
Is there any further testimony in the room? I know we have some online. Pierre, would you please let the first one in?
Good morning. I hope you all can hear me.
Good morning. I don't know who's online. Is this Maria?
Yes, this is
Catherine?
Maria Catherman.
Okay, we
Good
don't have a
morning.
picture. Are you audio only?
No, I'm trying to do both. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you.
Okay, well, my
you go.
internet is quite slow and it may not catch up, so I'll just go ahead with audio
Okay,
as long
fine.
as that goes.
That's fine. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. I've been an EV owner for 4 years now
Ma'am,
in Wyoming.
Could you introduce yourself for everyone?
I'm sorry. Yes, my name is Maria Catherman. I live in Converse County between Douglas and Glenrock. And I've been an EV owner for 4 years now. And we got it thinking it would be a great car for our frequent commutes to Douglas and to Casper. And it has been. And I think that this law is a really well written and it makes a lot of sense. It uncomplicates things on both ends. And we are very happy to pay this tax and think that we should contribute to the maintenance of the roads, and having it more simple for administrators and for collection makes a lot of sense. So I stand in complete agreement, and I think this is a good bill and should certainly pass. And those of us that have EV cars in Wyoming, we're not many, but I see lots and lots from out of state. And so it's especially great that this bill does make sure that you capture the tax on their use of electricity in our state when they stop and charge. And one thing, if none of you have driven an EV, I can mention is that at these charging stations, it sometimes takes an hour or two to charge up. And it's something that Wyoming could really take advantage of, because you don't sit there in your car, you look around and think, well, what can I do for an hour? And sometimes it's happened to me before that I end up spending a couple of hours and more dollars than I had hoped to, just in the community where the charger is. So there is that great advantage for our state too, that it's not just gas that you fill up to a company that is probably, bouncing those dollars and they leave Wyoming, but you stroll around the town, you find local things. And so it can be a big advantage for the state. So thanks for doing this. And I hope we can work on our infrastructure around the state for EV vehicles now and capture more people as they come by.
Well, thank you, Ms. Catherman. Any questions, committee? We appreciate your testimony. Thank you for joining us. I do believe we have another person. Okay. All right. We should have a Ms. Cox.
Hello. Good
Welcome.
morning, Chairman Pappas and members of the committee. My name is Alicia Cox, and I'm Executive Director of Yellowstone Teton Clean Cities. We are a nonprofit headquartered in Jackson, Wyoming, and serving all of Wyoming, Montana, and eastern Idaho. We work to advance alternative fuels and transportation. We are in strong support of House Bill 145. This bill provides clarity to the new licensing and alternative fuel tax program for electric vehicle charging station owners rolled out by WYDOT this past summer, and it removes triplicity in taxes paid by Wyoming residents. The program, as it was rolled out this past summer, unintentionally burdened existing level 2 station owners, and it has also hindered the growth of level 2 stations in the state. Several owners had to remove the public availability of their level 2 station, and this bill fixes that. We, Yellowstone Teton Clean Cities, offer a level 2 rebate program, and we've paused this program until there is further clarity on this alternative fuel tax collection process. But we look forward to continuing our program in the near future. As an EV owner myself, I travel regionally and throughout the state quite extensively for work, recreation, and my children's sports. So I'm constantly checking maps to ensure there are level 2 stations that are overnight accommodations or nearby locations we are already planning to go. And requiring the alternative fuel tax at DC fast charging stations is the simple way to capture a fuel tax for all of our out-of-state electric vehicle travelers, as our current Wyoming EV owners are already paying the $200 fee, and now the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle drivers will also pay that $100 registration fee. And the average amount of miles someone drives in a year is around 11,700 miles. It's typically a little bit more in Wyoming, and the average vehicle mile per gallon for the average vehicle is 24.2. So that equals out to about $113 that somebody with average driving and an average vehicle would pay in a gasoline vehicle, just for comparison's sake for those EV fees. But we feel this bill is very well written, and it captures and clarifies many concerns that there had been previously. So we stand in strong support of this bill. I'd welcome any questions, but thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you. Any questions, committee? Appreciate your testimony as well. I believe that's it for online, correct, Priya? And since I don't see anyone else in the room, we'll close public testimony. Committee, what is your pleasure?
Second.
Moved by Senator Barlow, seconded by Senator Anderson. Okay, committee, the good sponsor went through the bill. Don't think we need to go through it, but I will entertain any thoughts on additions, corrections, or deletions that you might have. Not seeing any further discussion. Okay, seeing none, we'll take a vote.
This is a roll call vote on House Bill 145. Senator Anderson.
Aye.
Senator Barlow.
Aye.
Senator Cooper.
Aye.
Senator Kolb left an absentee vote of no. Chairman Pappas.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, this bill will be taken to the Senate floor. Since my name's on it, I will be shepherding it. Okay, so that brings us to the conclusion of this meeting today, so I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for attending.
Do we have any other bills?
We do not have any other bills, by the way, on the unless we get something today. So
Thank you.
we may not be meeting Tuesday. We'll see.